currently 4:30 in the morning on a very windy Isle of Skye, and I'm currently climbing the old manor STORR to hopefully get some images of it at sunrise. Now these are images that I've dreamed about capturing for years and years. So yeah, I didn't sleep very much last night before this because strange mixture of nervousness and excitement for what lies in store this morning. It's going to be a hard slog up here, and I haven't seen many other people so far, which I'm quite surprised about. But yeah, hopefully in about half an hour's time I'll be up at the summit. I've made it to the top and it's absolutely extraordinarily beautiful, and I seem to have it all to myself at the moment. There are a few little twinkling headlights. I think there's one over there. There are people coming up, but it doesn't look like there's going to be too many of them at all. It's unbelievable up here. I think it's going to be a cracking sunrise. So I'm just going to regain my breath, go over to the ledge just behind me here and set up my tripod ready for that beautiful morning sunlight as it beams over the horizon. Well, we've had our sunrise and I managed to capture a few images. Sorry that I couldn't vlog too much at the top. The wind was absolutely ridiculous. It nearly knocked me off my feet a few times, and the camera as well. It just wouldn't have been possible to film up there with any decent audio quality. I mean, it's windy enough where I am right now, so I hope you can hear me pretty clearly. All in all, pretty decent, I have to say. There was slight concerns though. I mean, I am a perfectionist at heart. I mean, the view behind me is outstandingly beautiful, but from a photography point of view, it's not perfect. And the reason why, it might be difficult for you to see, but if you look across the horizon, there's a lot of mist in the air at the moment, and it's because of this strange warm weather that we're getting in spring. This is currently Easter weekend at the moment, and it's disappointing because what it means is it sucks a lot of the depth out of this view. And I've come up here before, and this view is one of the best in Britain without a shadow of a doubt, in my opinion. But what makes it great is the depth through here. You've obviously got the old manor STORR right in the front, but there's so much more going on in the scene behind me. You've got all the locks in the background, and you've got the red coolins and the black coolins right out in the distance, and it's that beautiful sort of layered effect through the shot where you can basically see the best of Skye all in one sort of viewpoint. That's what makes it brilliant. And unfortunately today, with the haze that we've got, it's just kind of sucked a bit of that depth away from the shot, I feel. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure how the shots are going to turn out, to be honest. The first shot I took it at 70mm, and basically I just went in for the actual old man there, framed that, put it to the kind of the right of the shot, had the lock sort of down to the side of it, and then the cooling mountains, or what I could see of them through the haze, in the backdrop. Quite a simple image, but I think it worked quite nicely with the side lighting coming in from the rising sun. And then for the second image, I turned my camera into portrait, and I took a panoramic image and I swept across the scene. I probably took about 5 or 6 images in total, and hopefully by stitching those together you'll get a beautiful panoramic going out this way, because there's just so much going in and on in the scene that it's really difficult to fit it all in one image. I can't remember the exact settings I used for the final shots. I'll pop them down below when I show the images. I had to use a relatively higher ISO than I would have liked because I needed to get that shutter speed up, because the wind, as I say, was just an absolute joke. It really was. But all in all, it's been an absolutely beautiful morning. I mean, look at that behind me. It's just absolutely exceptional. So I think I'm going to put the vlogging camera down for a little bit and yeah, take in this beauty before heading back down to the car. Just stopped on the way back to Portree. I was thinking of taking some shots in the beautiful locks that you've got over here, the classic kind of reflections of the Old Manor Store, but it's just way too windy. It's not going to work. You need mirror-like surface in those locks to get those reflections. So maybe another day, but today's not the day. But that doesn't matter too much because what's behind me here is pretty special, and I've got it all to myself at the moment, which is quite remarkable. This is Bride's Vale Waterfall. I think that's what it's called, and it's really beautiful. The waterfall itself is beautiful, but just look in the backdrop there. That's the Old Manor Store looming in the backdrop. So I think there's a real great possibility here for a really nice, strong image of the waterfall with the old man in the backdrop. So I found my composition, and it's a portrait composition actually, and I'm shooting at 50 mils. I think the biggest mistake you could possibly make when shooting this waterfall is shooting at wide angle, because the Old Manor Store will just turn into a little dot in the distance and it will become insignificant within the actual photograph itself. So yeah, wide angle is a complete no-no. By using 50 mils I can get into the scene and actually increase the dominance of Old Man within the actual composition itself. It's still relatively small because it's quite far away, but I'm doing the best I can within the actual location I'm in. Now, the waterfall tumbles down this way, so by positioning myself here I can shoot across the waterfall up to the Old Man just there, which works really beautifully. I've got a circular polariser on the front to pop out the contrast and take the glare off the water and rocks in the waterfall. I've also got a 4-stop ND filter as well to allow me to run just that longer shutter speed to get a bit of movement in the water. I'm currently shooting at about 1 second, and that's giving me that nice silky kind of quality to the water. And I've also got my soft edge 2-stop ND filter, the graduated ND filter, and I don't know if you can see, but I've kind of put it on at an angle, and that is literally just covering the top corner where the Old Man is positioned, just to bring out the blue in that little part of the actual image. In terms of settings, I am shooting at f9, and as I said, 1 second, ISO 64 at 50 mil. Now I probably will have to focus stack this because I don't think I'm going to get it sharp in one image, so I'm going to focus down probably about here and probably one back on the Old Man itself, and that should be sufficient, although I may well do a third image focus somewhere in that mid-ground. Then I'll be able to compile them in post-processing and get a nice sharp image right from front to back. really pleased how that image has turned out, and in many ways I actually prefer photographing here to up at the Old Man itself, in a strange kind of way. I mean, of course the view up at Old Man is absolutely amazing, but here I've got this location all to myself, there's no one else here, and this is actually a bit more difficult to photograph from the Old Man. The Old Man is not that difficult to photograph. There's not really that much you can do with that incredible scene. It's, in terms of settings and setup and filters, etc., it's really quite straightforward, whereas a waterfall like this presents a little bit more of a creative challenge, I think. So yeah, all in all, it's been a really enjoyable morning, I have to say. Hopefully I'll have some more time for some more shoots in this beautiful, beautiful place. I can't get enough of the Isle of Skye. It's absolutely intoxicating. It's another new day on Skye, and this morning I'm at Loch Fada, not sure how you pronounce it, but it's beautiful nonetheless. And today is a bit of an overcast day, but I couldn't possibly expect 2 stunning clear days on the bounce here, could I? But the conditions are actually pretty much perfect for shooting this lake. Now what you can see behind me is the Old Man of STORR is just up here, and this is a famous location for getting mirror-like reflections down in the lake here, and particularly you've got this beautiful island that sits out in the lake too, and there's not a breath of wind to be felt at all this morning. So just look at the reflections behind me, absolutely near perfect to shoot this location. Would be nice if we got a little bit of light, but it's looking unlikely at the moment. There's a lot of cloud out this way. The sun rose about half an hour ago, so I'm not counting out the possibility of light yet. There is a chance that it might creep over some of these clouds, but I don't think it matters too much. This is the kind of scene behind me where you can kind of shoot it regardless of the lighting conditions. I have my camera all set up, and I've popped on the 70 to 200 telephoto lens to really take me into the key reflections on the lake behind. In terms of setup, it's pretty straightforward. I'm shooting at f8, ISO 64 at about 100mm at the moment, and currently a shutter speed of a 6th of a second, but as the sun starts to rise in the sky, that's gonna get a bit quicker, so I'm not sure what the final image will be taken at. But all in all, pretty simple, no need for any filters here. The exposure is quite balanced on the scene behind me, so no need for any NDs or anything like that. All in all, it's pretty straightforward. Compositionally, I'll just take you down here. That is kind of what I'm going for. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, can you see that? So really, I'm just focusing in on the actual key reflections in the scene behind me, with a real focus on, focus back, yep, with a real focus on the actual island there, and the reflection of the actual Old Man pinnacle down in the lake. And what I've tried to do is I've tried to position the lake and the actual reflection of the Old Man pinnacle relatively close to each other, because I felt compositionally that worked quite well. I'm pretty much given a 50-50 allocation to the sky and the lake, and yeah, I think by zooming in it gets rid of any of the distractions of the scene. I think wide angle compositions could potentially work here from various angles, but to me they feel a little bit bloated, a little bit unnecessary. I feel sometimes the strongest compositions are the simplest, and in this case I think by going into the scene, removing all those distractions and just focusing primarily on the STORR, the island and the reflections, that is the winning combination for the image here, I feel. When shooting landscape photography with a telephoto lens like this at shutter speeds which aren't particularly that quick, you really need to be very, very wary of the shutter putting vibrations into the camera and tripod. and thereby stripping your sharpness away. I use the D850, which is very, very unforgiving for lack of sharpness, and in the first few images that I've taken here, I've seen a real lack of sharpness, and I believe it's the shutter creating that. The easy way around it is just to use the electronic shutter if your camera's got that, or alternatively you can use options like the mirror up or the MUP option on Nikon bodies. I'm not sure what it's called on Canon or Sony, but I'm sure they'll have the equivalent on there. I think it's time to call it a day on today's video. Let me know your thoughts on the images of the Old Manor store that I managed to capture, and let me know which is your favourite. I've thoroughly enjoyed my few days on Skye. I wish I could have done more photography, but I definitely will be back in the future to capture more corners of this magical island. It's absolutely incredible here. I love it so much. Thanks very much for watching today, and if you haven't yet subscribed, please consider doing so to see more landscape photography content just like this. I'll see you all soon. Take care.